Oh, and one other thing, if I can ask for my clients a clarification, the condition that staff has about a landscape plan, if it can be just prepared by anyone, or does it have to be prepared by a licensed landscape architect?
It's not a new house, so.
Yeah, I don't think that it has to be. It's just, I think it just says something about it has to be professionally done, but not.
Okay. Just wanted to clarify.
You know what we mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I have a question as well. It might be actually better if you come up here, because we might be able to have a more concise conversation. Is this portion, so this is existing facade that you're adding onto, that you're recladding,
Correct.
and then you're going to turn this cladding over like so?
Yes, correct.
And then,
Not take it all the way to the floor, to the ground.
To
We
the-
want it a little bit up like that, so that it has this floating look.
I see.
Mm.
And
That's
is there a
the intent.
reason why you didn't take it all the way to the chimney here, or whatever, this is the chimney, yeah?
Right. I didn't think it would be appropriate for this to get too thick, because we're doing the same thing here, and it turns the corner. You see this and this,
I see.
they match, and then this turns the other corner on the other side. Right here. This and this, this and this. They're all. It's almost like a plane that sticks up in front.
And then this is all stucco?
Everything else is stucco, yeah.
That masonry wall that's here,
Fence wall?
fence wall,
Uh huh.
at the property line?
Right.
um,
That could stay. We're
Yeah, it's a
5 feet away from.
it's a masonry wall, right? Is it not a block wall?
Yeah, block wall.
And what's the height of that profession, like right around here?
Yeah, that would be on the lower level, so yeah, about
Right around
5
there.
feet. Uh-huh.
And then the house next door is stepping down, because the Edwards is on a slope. So this house, you're really looking down on the roof of the house next door.
Actually, we're pretty much on the same level, right? The house next door is the picture. It's not it's not that far
So
below.
it seems as though,
Look at
yeah, so when you do the second story, you're really looking down on that roof.
yeah, but you see how much higher it is here. So our roof line and that roof line were maybe just a foot or so, and we're keeping that
But now you're like 11 feet away, though, from that fence, right? Or how far?
5 feet away.
5 feet.
5 feet away.
Okay.
Where before,
And this house sticks out just as much as what we're proposing, just for your information.
And then you're going to reclad the brick chimney?
Yes, yeah, stucco. To be
Stucco,
yeah.
And what are the existing windows?
Wood, right? Yeah.
Existing. I thought I saw aluminum
Anodized aluminum.
clad
That-
windows.
That's what we're proposing.
I see. And then, so you're going to replace all the windows?
All the windows
I see.
with wood windows that have
Wood
clear,
clad.
clear anodized.
Wood windows with aluminum clad on all the
Correct.
windows.
All the windows.
Okay. And are these going to be awning windows over here? Or are
Correct.
these operable?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bottom window.
And so are these, or are these
Yes.
fixed? I guess they could go either way.
Right. And that,
And then this is the planter area
correct above the garage.
above the garage. That's in this area. So this is not a sliding door, it's just a pure planter.
Exactly. Not a balcony, but
was that going to be a balcony before?
no.
Okay. And, what is this room in here?
Like a family room, since they don't really have a family room, TV room, den, whatever you want.
So the lower level stays as is. This is
There is no.
no.
the-
I see. Right. It's the same thing that's adding on to it. So you
Right.
have this living area here,
Right.
and then you have your bedrooms here.
Right. The only thing on the lower level is just the garage. Right. Basically, the whole house is on one.
Okay.
And so the grade's going to stay the same for the garage, then, right?
Yeah, exactly. It works out very nicely that the.
Pretty close to it.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, there is a little angle at the back, huh?
Yeah.
So the crazy little.
We have to keep it. Otherwise, it would have been a fourth variance for the setback encroachment. So that's why I said
And what's this? Are these steps?
yes. The yard is a little bit lower, existing yard
So
in
where's
that area.
this facade?
That facade is here.
So
That's
So
the
this
step.
is, these are, this is actually
Sliding.
sliding doors?
Right.
So this is going to be farther down?
Well, no, it is farther. The grade is lower, so we have the steps.
Okay, so this,
That's the floor level.
This is
That's the
floor.
ground level.
I see. So this is sliding doors, like
Right.
that?
It's about
Like a
18
poppy
to
door or
20.
something like that,
Yeah.
or just-
No, just sliding.
Regular sliding?
Yeah.
You're going to have fixed, and then,
Right.
and these are steps coming down?
That's the steps coming down.
Now, what are you doing to the garage door? Are you adding the same material to the garage
Yeah,
door?
yeah. That's the idea.
You're gonna make it really heavy. It's okay.
I haven't researched that, but I'm sure I've seen that kind of door as a roll-up door before, so I'm sure we can find something that matches that.
I have no more questions. We're good?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So you're okay not speaking? You want to add anything?
I don't see anything.
Okay, thanks. Let's close the session, and would you like to get us started?
Can I have the pointer over there? I like the way the remodel has gone. I think it's simple and clean, and it's going to be an addition to the neighborhood. But I do have some concerns about the front. We've got the steps coming down to the street and the driveway connecting, and we have this real thin slice of a triangle here. And I think that's not a usable space. And if you were going from the driveway up to the house, I don't see the homeowners wanting to go out in the street and come back up. I would suggest maybe if it's possible to put some stairs down to the driveway from the walkway and maybe change the configuration of this walk so the entrance is more over here and you don't have this triangle area. I think it's just going to end up to be a no man's land. And I would also recommend that since once the remodel is done, this dog-eared fence is not going to look very good, so either enhance that and bring it out to encompass the pool equipment area and tie it in with the architecture of the house. I think those are my
Mr. Soren?
No, thank you. I think overall, it's a very nice design. Franco, we're used to seeing more Mediterranean styles from you, and this is more on the contemporary side, which is nice. And I'm glad we had the opportunity for you to come up and explain the design to us, because now that we have this perspective, which we didn't have in our package, it's very nice the way you kind of turn these corners on the siding piece. It really frames the building well, and I think with these aluminum-clad windows, and especially with these operable awning windows, and coupled with the fact that your eaves are solid, I'll have a very kind of a contemporary mid-century look to it. So I think overall it's a very nice design. And I appreciate the fact that you've pulled the windows higher on these bedrooms as well. Because these are the new bedrooms, I believe, that are being put in, these windows. And so, you're not really creating any conflicts with the property next door, so that's nice as well. I agree about the entrance, and that would be, I think, just a great addition to a good design. It's already very well thought out, and it might be nice to be able to have an access through there, so I agree with that. But I really like also the way you've kind of done these floating steps, and I think you have this opportunity to pull some of these landings out a few more feet and create some planter areas and whatnot. So as you're coming out, you could have these floating kind of landings coming out and creating some opportunities there, which would be nice. Overall, I like the design where it's using the stucco and the siding. It's working well. I would maybe consider some lighter colors on the siding, but that's completely up to you and your client. So it might be somewhat heavy, as Mr. Yu was pointing out. Especially, I know he was we're talking about the weight of the door, but aesthetically
It's a big
too.
piece,
Yeah, it might be nicer with a little lighter color, but that's absolutely up to you. So overall, I think it's well laid out, and I appreciate the fact that the addition occurred away from the corner, so it's not going to get in the way visually, and as far as drive-bys and pedestrians and vehicle or traffic, that corner won't be blocked. So overall, I think it's a good design and a good addition, and I really like your planter area up here.
Thank you. My comments are similar. I think some good points that have been brought up. I do like the design. I think it's a good way of using the siding to give it a very long, sort of horizontal direction to the house. The addition is done well. It's in a good location of it. I mean, because right now it sort of sits like the garage, and then the house kind of just steps up on top of that, but you're able to connect that. And so I think that was well done. I think it's a great point about the steps coming down. If we can get it closer to the garage, I think it's a lot more usable that way. And somehow tying in maybe the planters going in that way. And I think you guys can do it. I'll leave it up to you on that sense. I'm okay with the use of materials. The stucco sort of offsets the siding. The planter, I think it's a good idea. I hope you waterproof it well so it doesn't leak or anything. Yeah, the siding of it is fine. I like it. I like the way that's being sensitive to the neighbors, to the corner. And I think with a couple of the suggestions that were made, I think I'm ready to approve it. So
I have one question. Sure. What is the driveway and the step material? I noticed you've listed concrete on one of them, but we're talking about plain concrete, textured.
I'll open it up. If you could come up, if one of you can come up and.
We
Name
have
and address
discussed
again.
interlocking pavers for the driveway.
The name for the record.
Huh?
Name and
Oh,
address.
Franco Noravian,
Come on,
architect.
Franco, you know.
So interlocking pavers.
Interlocking paper.
I would keep them relatively subtle.
Uh-huh.
Because, sometimes they have a tendency, the blend has a tendency to stand out, and I think it might hurt the simplicity of the house. So
Right.
if you do that, I would keep them very subtle, and
What about just plain concrete with score lines?
I think maybe with a light washed or medium washed finish.
Right. If we can have that as an option,
Right.
then we.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
I do have one question about the fence. We'd love to change the fence, but I think the fence was put in with a permit for the. I think because they had a pool, they gave them they allow them to have the fence, but it's in the front setback. So, can we change that fence? Can we change the design of it?
Well, I'm just saying,
You can repair it.
Right.
So you have to go damage it first, and then you have to.
I'm just
I don't
suggesting
think you can
maybe
replace it.
a fascia with a cap. Would they be allowed to do that?
I
No,
don't
if,
believe you
if
can.
it's in the front setback, unfortunately, if it has not received a standards variance, it could not be replaced.
Another variant.
No, I meant added to.
An existing fence there added to in terms of increase the height, or just
no.
just added to in terms of the
Right
aesthetic
now, it's a
veneer?
dog-eared
Right.
fence, so I'm saying add maybe a fascia and a cap just to tie in with the architecture. Not changing the location or,
Just adding.
That's
pieces.
something that we would need to take a look at the building records. to
Right.
see.
I would go over any case history that may have prohibited something as such,
I
but
just think it will really hurt the way it is.
understood.
Thank you. Close it again. And do we have any motions to consider for this project?
I have one condition on the.
Or maybe you can go over the conditions that, yeah,
Okay.
that you could add to
Yeah,
it.
Conditions.
Okay, well, I have definitely some comments addressing the fence, and that's what I'll do with my supervisors to definitely see if we can come with an agreement so that this design works out. I have comments regarding the steps to the front entrance and have that be more interactive with the driveway and incorporating some more planter boxes in that sense. I have comments regarding,
I think one of the specific ones to eliminate that sort of wedged triangular piece,
to eliminate that.
or to make it big enough that it'll.
Or rework
the wedge between the entrance stairs and the driveway and attempt to integrate a stairway linking the driveway
To the
to the
main-
door
To
entrance.
the door entrance, okay.
I think that was the intent.
Gotcha, your work stairway entrance. As far as overall considerations, I have those, and then the landscape plan as staff suggested.
I would suggest that the landscape plan, that you make sure when whoever does it, that the plant material is not using a lot of different varieties, a few varieties, because the architecture is fairly simple, and maybe a continuation of one or maybe 3, 4 plants, so it doesn't become overwhelming.
That's a good suggestion.
Now, there was some talk about the interlocking pavers and the concrete, and I'm not sure, the applicant asked for clarification on that.
Is that something that would,
Well, interlocking pavers are, of course, more aesthetically pleasing. It's just the type of, you're talking about the finish and the color and so
Only if you
forth,
used one color,
as opposed to
was
the
not a-
blend.
a blend, I think it would work. I just think it might stand out more than the architecture.
With the
so-
blend, or
No.
would it stand out more plain, as in one color?
No, a blend would stand out more. I
I
don't think
agree.
you want to draw attention to the driveway, but I would also think that a textured concrete or a wash finish would be acceptable, too. Because if he does the driveway, it's going to mean the walkway be different. I wouldn't want to see the walkway in the interlocking pavers. So maybe if they could both be
Yeah,
the same,
that wouldn't be, yeah.
I think maybe the concrete, the wash might work.
yeah, if I may bring this to the board's attention, I do have to check with the Public Works Department in regards to what is in the public right-of-way and what decorative paving will be allowed within that public right-of-way. Public Works would have to issue an encroachment permit to see if that is permitted. And
That's a good point.
So, in consideration with the overall design, we wouldn't be able to have, it may possibly be starting further than
If that's the case, I would suggest the concrete
just stamped, perhaps? Scored?
scored,
Scored?
the tool
Because that would look
joint.
even worse to have just a standard concrete like halfway
Midway.
up.
That's correct. Yeah.
It's a good point. Yeah, because I mean, because of the slope, it does become part of the elevation pretty significantly. So it's a good point. Okay. Were there any other points that?
I believe that's all I have to note.
Okay.
Well, I move to approve the project with stated conditions.
I'll second that.
Okay. Before I take the motion, is the board happy with the record decision that staff has provided? Got a nod? One nod?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
If I may, before we move on, just to kind of recap, I had counted 4 conditions then. There was one regarding the material finish of the driveway. Second one was regarding the fence around the pool area. A third was regarding the steps, the front steps coming out in that wedge-shaped planter box. Let me see, my fourth one was Ms. Palmer's comments that the landscape plan should be fairly minimal in terms of the number of species involved. Is that, did I miss one?
No, but you brought up the fence one as your second condition, which was a good one, because we briefly discussed that, so I'm still a little confused on that. The original applicant had gotten a permit for it, and so the question is if we ask for any modifications on that, do they have to go through a whole variance process? And that might be just a lot of work, just for the fence. And so, how does the board feel about just not mentioning anything about the fence? We could say restain it, we could say recolor it, we could say repair and match it to the color of the siding. I just don't want to put them in a predicament where they might have to go get a variance for
I suppose you could make the comment regarding the fence could be a comment rather than a condition of approval, which makes it a suggestion of something to pursue, so you don't.
Or consideration?
Consideration.
A consideration to repair. I think repair is a more forgiving
repair
word.
and repaint or
A strong consideration.
strong consideration to repair and.
I'd be fighting if I were you.
Okay. With that said, I have a motion by Mr. Simonian and a second by Mrs. Palmer. This will be roll call. Mr. Simonian.
Yes.
Mrs. Palmer.
Yes.
And Mr. Yu.
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0.
One final comment, if I may, on just as a reminder, not only to the board and the applicant, but anybody who's watching, that the landscape plan needs to be consistent with bewaterwise.com, which is the new listing of plants that are suitable for drought-resistant, drought-tolerant, low water usage plants.
Thank you. Thank you for the reminder. Well, that's our only case. So
We do have 3 sets of minutes, one of which must be postponed to our next meeting, simply because we do not have a quorum for those minutes, and that would be the minutes from June 11th. Only Board Member Yu was here for those, so we'll go ahead and postpone those.
refuse to get.
Exactly.
those are the ones that are like 30 pages of minutes.
Exactly, and so that's going to actually be continued to the next hearing date. But we do have the minutes of July the 9th and July the 23rd. And it appears that...
I don't have the 23rd one.
Sorry. That all members were present that day.
We have a motion.
July
on the
9th was actually a study session, so if you recall
I
that.
move to approve the minutes for July 9th of '09.
I'll second that.
Second by Ms. Palmer. Board Member Simonian?
Yes?
Board Member Palmer?
Yes.
Chairman Yu?
Yes.
Motion passes to approve the minutes of July 9th for the study session, so that leaves July the 23rd.
I'll move to approve the minutes for July 23rd of '09 as well.
I'll second that.
Board Member Simonian?
Yes.
Board Member Palmer?
Yes.
Chairman Yu?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. There are no other staff announcements. Is there a motion to adjourn at 5:45?
I move that we adjourn.
Incredible.
And really, yes, thank you very much.